Have you ever felt a strange weight in your body? Almost like you're wearing an invisible suit of armor that keeps you from moving freely. I'm not talking about sharp pain or a diagnosed injury, but that quiet stiffness hiding deep inside you. The curious thing is, it doesn't come only from your mind, even though the mind always tries to explain it. Its root lies in a forgotten hidden muscle, a silent guardian that stores unresolved trauma, the Psoas. This isn't just any muscle. It's not one you flex at the gym or notice when you're running or lifting. It's a deep muscle at the base of your core, connecting your spine to your legs. In the language of the body, it represents the hinge between instinct and awareness. Every time you felt fear, every time life forced you to brace yourself, that muscle tightened. What you couldn't cry out, what you couldn't express, stayed locked there like an echo, waiting to be released. Why does this matter? Because the body never forgets. The mind can rationalize, justify, or bury painful memories under layers of explanation. But the body carries the truth in its tissues. And when a muscle so deeply tied to your breathing, posture and nervous system stays contracted, it sends a constant signal to your brain you're not safe. So even if your life looks stable, even if nothing outside threatens you, your body still lives in defense mode. That's the invisible cycle many people get stuck in. The body holds the trauma, the brain reads danger, and life turns into a loop of tension, anxiety, and fatigue. Releasing the Psoas isn't just a physical stretch. It's a way of making peace with your past, of telling your body it no longer has to carry old battles. In this video, we're going to explore this mystery in depth. You'll see why this muscle became the silent archive of your most intense experiences. Ancient cultures already understood that the body stores invisible memories. What movements and practices can free that tension and open the door to a lighter, fuller life? This isn't just another exercise or a passing trick. It's an invitation to reconnect with the part of your body that's been ignored the longest. To acknowledge it, respect it, and finally let it release. Because when it does, it's not just a muscle relaxing. A deep channel opens that changes the way you breathe, think, walk, and live. Get ready. What may look like a simple movement can be the key to a transformation your body has been waiting for. Sometimes for years, cultures across the world always sense something modern science is only starting to confirm. The body is a living archive. Every emotion, every trauma, every unspoken story is etched into its tissues. What we now call the Psoas, that deep muscle connecting spine to legs, was never seen as just anatomy. For the ancients, it was a vital axis, a guardian of the embodied soul. In the East, yoga sages spoke of an energy center rooted at the base of the body where survival instincts and old memories were stored. That center linked to the first chakra was seen as the root of life. When it was blocked, people felt fear, insecurity, and a sense of disconnection from the earth. Practices of mindful movement and deep breathing weren't just about physical flexibility. They were ways to release stored energy and open up what was trapped deep inside. In ancient Greece, philosophers like Plato and Aristotle recognized that emotions lived not only in the mind. The soul, they said, resonated throughout the body, and trauma could chain a person into repetition. Even without naming the Psoas, they sensed memory lived in the deepest folds of the flesh, and freeing it was necessary for true harmony. In shamanic traditions of the Americas, the body was seen as a map of both personal and collective history. Healers studied posture, breathing, and subtle gestures, and recognizing that untold stories lived there. When someone carried fear or suppressed anger, shamans pointed to the abdomen and hips as places where energy became trapped. Dance, drumming, and movement rituals weren't just for celebration. They were therapies to untangle invisible knots that weighed down entire communities. Even in ancient Egypt, the body was seen as a sacred vessel. The belly, hips, and inner organs were considered carriers of spiritual power. Stiffness in the body was taken as a sign of imbalance in life force, the energy linking a person to the cosmic order. Why does this matter today? Because for centuries, medicine reduced the body to mechanical parts, ignoring its emotional and spiritual dimensions. The Psoas was written off as just a hip flexor stripped of its symbolic depth. But ancient traditions still remind us to free the body is to free memory. The Psoas hidden deep within us carries that truth. It is the bridge between the ancient and the modern, between instinct and awareness. Understanding it as an archive of unresolved trauma connects us to wisdom that's thousands of years old. Healing doesn't happen by forgetting, but by remembering and letting go of what's trapped inside the body. The Psoas isn't a superficial muscle you can flex in the mirror. It's hidden deep within, as if nature intended to protect it at the core of the body. Its placement isn't random, running from the lower spine to the inner thighs. It links your torso to your legs. It's literally the bridge between stability and movement, between stillness and action. But beyond its mechanical role, it is a guardian of hidden memory. Every time you face danger, your nervous system kicks in with an automatic response. Fight, flight, or freeze. And in all of those moments, the Psoas responds. It contracts to launch you forward, shield your internal organs, and hold you steady. But when the threat never gets resolved, when trauma lingers, when emotions have no outlet, that contraction doesn't fully go away. The muscle stays on guard like a sentinel that never received the order to stand down. Picture the Psoas as a sponge. With every intense experience, it soaks up emotions. Fear, anger, sadness, shame. If they're not released, that sponge becomes saturated and eventually stiff. What should be a strong, flexible muscle turns into a hard knot of tension, a prison for what never got resolved. Here's the striking part. Even if your mind forgets, the Psoas remembers. The childhood fall, the car accident, the moment of overwhelming fear, all of it gets recorded in that silent tissue. And it's not only personal memory. Some researchers believe the Psoas can also carry echoes from the past. Ancestral imprints passed down through posture, breath, and movement. That's why when the Psoas finally lets go, you don't just feel physical relief, something deeper happens. It's like unlocking an inner gate. Emotions you thought were gone resurface. Memories you thought were buried come back. Tears, tremors, even laughter may rise up. The body speaks its own language of release, one the rational mind doesn't always understand. You could say the Psoas is the guardian of your survival instinct. It's the first to react when your life feels threatened, and often the last to relax after the danger is gone. If it stays locked, it keeps signaling that you're not safe. In that contradiction, it holds trauma as a living archive. That lens lets us reinterpret everyday symptoms. Back pain, hip tightness, digestive issues, anxiety without a clear reason. Not as random problems, but as signals from the Psoas itself. Many of these symptoms aren't illnesses at all. They're messages. There's something here you still haven't released. By listening, instead of numbing with pills or distractions, we create space to reconcile with the body's memory. That's why the Psoas isn't just a muscle. It's a doorway, a guardian challenging us to stop running from the past and finally face what hurts, so we can let it go and move freely again. If in the first step we saw the Psoas as a guardian of instinct and trauma, now we can understand it as a portal of liberation. This muscle isn't doomed to be a prison. Built into its flexibility is the possibility of renewal. And here's the paradox. What once saved us can also be what binds us. That automatic contraction helped us survive. But when it stays too long, it keeps us locked. It's like a warrior who never lowers his sword, even after the battle has ended. In that stance, the body burns energy. The mind hardens, and life shrinks into pure defense. But the Psoas is more than survival. It's a bridge between instinct and spirit. In Eastern traditions, it's called the muscle of the soul because it links the base of the spine to the heart of our energy system. When it's rigid, life force gets trapped. When it releases, energy rises, sparking openness, clarity, and vitality. Here's the subtle truth. Releasing the Psoas isn't just physical. It's symbolic. By opening it with mindful movement and gentle stretches, you're not just loosening fibers. You're telling your body the danger is over. It's safe now to rest, to trust, to love. Every deep breath, every gentle sway, every gesture of opening becomes a silent declaration. I don't need to carry this anymore. I can let go. That's why people often cry, shake, laugh, or recall forgotten memories during Psoas release. These aren't side effects. They're the body's language, finally expressing what was locked away. Still, this process isn't always easy. Our culture teaches us to control, to resist, to see vulnerability as weakness. So when the Psoast starts to let go, fear often rises. Fear of losing the rigidity that once felt protective. Fear of meeting emotions we've long avoided. But real healing always means crossing that uncomfortable threshold. In that sense, the Psoas doesn't only hold pain. It holds potential. It guards not only what hurt us, but also what has yet to bloom. Freeing it is opening a portal to a more authentic self. A body that's more fluid, a mind that's lighter, a spirit that's present. This forgotten muscle reveals itself as a quiet teacher. It reminds us that what we cling to binds us, and what we release becomes life force. By learning to listen and move with awareness, we realize healing isn't about erasing. It's about opening, feeling, and releasing. Knowing the Psoas stores trauma and memory is powerful, but even more transformative is learning how to meet it in daily life. Releasing this muscle isn't just a technical exercise. It's a path of reconciliation with your body, your story, and your life energy. The first step, cultivate inner listening. The Psoas is deep and subtle. It doesn't shout, it whispers. Pay attention to stiffness in your hips, tension when you walk, or discomfort when you sit too long. Those are its signals. Before trying advanced techniques, simply close your eyes for a few minutes each day. Notice what you feel in your lower belly and pelvis. That simple awareness is the beginning of dialogue. The first invitation to let the Psoas guide you toward release. That simple act of being present is already the beginning of release. The second suggestion is to breathe consciously. The diaphragm and the Psoas are closely connected. When you breathe shallowly, you keep the muscle on alert. But when you allow deep breaths, expanding the belly and releasing the diaphragm, the Psoas gets a clear signal. There's no danger. Practice slow inhales through the nose, sending the breath deep into the belly, then exhale gently. This simple practice has the power to undo years of stored tension. The third suggestion is to add gentle, mindful movement. It's not about forcing stretches or chasing extreme flexibility. The Psoas responds far better to softness than to force. Yoga poses like warrior, bridge, or low lunge can be powerful when you hold them with attention. You can also do gentle hip swings or simply lie on the ground with your knees bent, letting your body find its own rhythm of release. The fourth suggestion is to let yourself feel whatever comes up. When the Psoas releases, unexpected emotions may surface. Sadness, fear, anger, or even bursts of laughter. Don't shut them down. These are memories finally finding a way out. Cry if you need to. Tremble if your body asks for it. Laugh when it rises. This muscle doesn't only store tension, it stores stories. Releasing them is an act of love toward yourself. The fifth suggestion is to honor your connection to the earth. The Psoas links your torso to your legs, stability to movement. Walking barefoot on grass, sand, or solid ground is more than just sensory pleasure. It's a reminder to the muscle that you're rooted, that you belong here, and that you can trust the ground beneath you. Each conscious step reaffirms safety. Finally, the deepest suggestion: treat your Psoas like a teacher. Don't see it as just another muscle to stretch, but as a guardian that held what you couldn't face before. Speak to it in silence. Thank it for protecting you during moments of danger, and give it permission to let go. This conscious relationship turns every practice into a ritual of healing. By following these suggestions, you don't just free a muscle, you free memories, open pathways, and allow your body to recover the natural fluidity it was built for. This journey reveals a truth a modern life often forgets, but that lives deep within us. The body is not a machine, it's a temple. And inside that temple lives a silent guardian, the Psoas holding unresolved trauma, buried emotions, and even ancestral memory. To understand this is to awaken to a truth that's been there all along. Healing doesn't happen only in the mind or the soul, but in the flesh we live in. The Psoas teaches us life's paradox. What once saved us may now be what holds us back. The very muscle designed to protect us in danger often stays contracted long after the threat is gone. And so the body keeps living in alert mode, carrying battles that ended long ago. In that extra layer of protection, the soul loses lightness. But there's also another side to the story. When the Psoas releases, it's not just muscle that relaxes. A portal opens. Suddenly, there's room to reconcile with your past. Release hidden tears, let go of inherited fears, and rebuild trust in life. Every deep breath, every mindful step, every barefoot walk on the earth is a reminder that we no longer need to live in defense. We can come home to the body in peace. The medicine of this forgotten muscle isn't some secret reserved for experts. It's available to anyone willing to listen. It doesn't require force, only attention. It doesn't ask for perfection, only honesty. What matters is allowing the body to speak in its own language, without rush, without judgment, without masks. Because at its core, all it asks for is recognition. Whoever frees the Psoas discovers more than flexibility. They discover a new way of inhabiting themselves. Posture changes. Breath deepens, the mind quiets, the heart opens. A body once lived in as a battlefield becomes a sanctuary. And that transformation doesn't stay personal. A lighter, freer, more confident person radiates that peace outward. Now you know there's a forgotten muscle that holds your story, and it may be the key to your freedom. The question is, will you listen? Will you let yourself feel what it carries? Will you release what no longer serves you and walk with the lightness your spirit longs for? If this message resonated with you, I invite you to subscribe, leave a like, and share this video so more people can discover the wisdom hidden in their own bodies. Every gesture helps grow a community of seekers who want to live with more awareness and freedom. Remember, true healing doesn't always come from outside. Sometimes the deepest medicine has been waiting inside you all along. In that silent muscle that once freed gives back the memory of who you really are.